So you're looking at the MINIX NEO U22-XJ, the ultimate 4K Android TV box that promises to replace your smart TV's clunky OS for good. But here's what surprised me. This isn't just another streaming stick, and it can do things that might actually get you in trouble. Therefore, before you click buy, you need to know the 3 massive pros and the 1 glaring con that no one is talking about. For the best price, click the link in the description. /N, let's be real, your smart TV's interface is probably slower than a Monday morning. You want Netflix, it loads. You want to sideload an app, forget it. The promise of the U22-XJ is raw Android power in a tiny box, giving you a full Google Play Store, 4K HDR streaming, and even light gaming. But is it the holy grail or just another gadget collecting dust? Therefore, stick around because we're going to tear this thing apart and I'll show you exactly who should buy it and who should run away. /N, first, the unboxing. You get the box itself, which is this sleek, metal, surprisingly heavy little square, a power adapter, the frankly excellent MINIX A3 air mouse remote, an HDMI cable, and some paperwork. Immediate value, the remote. It has a full keyboard on the back, a built-in microphone for Google Assistant, and an air mouse function so you don't have to tap your way across the screen like a woodpecker on caffeine. It feels premium, which is a good start, because if the remote is good, you'll actually use the device. But that remote is also a hint, a clue that this isn't a simple plug-and-play streamer. This is a tool. Therefore, the first thing you need to know is that the U22-XJ demands a little patience. It's running a near-stock version of Android 11, which is great for control, but it doesn't boot straight into a pretty dumbed-down TV interface like a Roku. It boots into the Android app drawer. For techies, that's freedom. For someone wanting a simple Netflix button, that's a potential. How do I exit this app? Panic moment. /N, let's talk hardware, because this is where MINIX usually shines. Inside this metal shell is an Amlogic S922XJ chipset. That's a hexacore processor with 4 ARM Cortex-A73 cores and 2 Cortex-A53 cores. In human terms, it's seriously powerful for an Android box. It's paired with 4 GB of DDR4 RAM and 32 GB of internal storage, which is expandable via microSD. This thing is built like a tank for media. It supports 4K at 60 frames per second, HDR10, HLG, and even has an HDMI 2.1 port for features like auto low latency mode, which is great if you want to hook it up to a gaming console, or more likely, use it for some Android gaming. But here's the contrarian snapback. All that power is almost overkill if all you do is watch Netflix and Disney+. A cheaper Chromecast with Google TV can do that just fine and with a simpler interface. Therefore, the U22-XJ isn't for the casual streamer. It's for the power user, the tinkerer, the home theater enthusiast who wants bit-perfect audio pass-through, or the cord cutter who wants to run a full IPTV app with an electronic program guide without a single stutter. /N, and that leads me to the number 1 pro, flexibility. This box can run almost any Android app you throw at it. Kodi runs like a dream. Plex client, perfect. You want to sideload a modified APK for, let's say, educational purposes? Go for it. The full Google Play Store access means you can even install productivity apps, browsers, or games. I played some Android games like Asphalt 9, and with a Bluetooth controller, it was a smooth experience. The box didn't break a sweat. But with great power comes great responsibility and occasionally great confusion. Android TV is designed for a 10-foot lean-back experience. Plain Android, even on a TV, is designed for touch. Some apps will look weird, with tiny text meant for a phone. Therefore, you'll need to be comfortable adjusting display settings, finding TV-optimized versions of apps, or using the excellent Air Mouse to navigate less friendly interfaces. It's a trade-off. Total control for a bit of complexity. /N, now, let's dive into the media playback, because that's the main event. I tested it with high bitrate 4K HDR Remux files via Kodi and Plex, files that make lesser boxes choke and buffer. The U22-XJ played them all flawlessly. The video playback is stunning, with excellent color reproduction and crisp detail. It handled HDR10 metadata correctly, triggering my TV's HDR mode. The audio support is where it truly sings for AV nerds. It can pass through lossless audio formats like Dolby True HD and DTS HD Master Audio to an AV receiver. Most streaming sticks compress audio or can't do this. If you have a proper home theater setup, this is a massive deal. It's like discovering your cheap sports car has a Formula One engine hidden inside. And this is a big but, to unlock that audio nirvana, you need to dig into the settings. You have to enable something called pass-through in each media app you use. It's not hard, but it's another step, another layer of setup. Therefore, if you're just using the TV speakers, you won't care. But if you have a soundbar or receiver that supports these formats, this feature alone could justify the price. \n time for a joke. Setting up all these audio codecs is a bit like teaching your grandparents to use a new remote. You explain it clearly, they nod, and then they immediately press the button that opens the DVD tray instead. The U22-XJ settings menu is that DVD tray button. It's powerful, but you have to know what you're looking for. \n let's talk about the second major pro, the cooling and connectivity. This box has a massive internal heatsink and a fan. Yes, a fan. You can hear it spin up under heavy load, but it's not loud. It's a gentle whir that keeps the powerful chip cool, preventing thermal throttling during long gaming or high bitrate playback sessions. A lot of cheaper boxes cook themselves silently. This one stays cool, which means consistent performance. For ports, you get two USB 3.0 ports, one USB 2.0, that HDMI 2.1, an optical audio out, an Ethernet port, and the microSD slot. This is a connectivity powerhouse. You can connect external hard drives, a webcam for video calls, a USB tuner for live TV, and more. It's a desktop PC in a tiny box, but remember that fan. It means this isn't a completely silent device. In a dead silent room, you might notice it. Therefore, if absolute silence is your priority for movie night, this might bother you. For most, the trade-off for rock-solid performance is worth it. \n now, the third pro is the software support and community. MINIX has a decent track record of providing firmware updates, and there's an active community of users online. If you run into a problem, chances are someone has solved it and posted a guide. This longevity is rare in the world of Android TV boxes, where many are abandoned after 6 months. Having that support safety net is valuable. And this leads me to the major con, the one thing you must know before buying, the elephant in the room, or rather the Google in the room. \n here's the twist, the contrarian snapback I promised at the start. This powerful, capable, well-built box has a lurking issue. It's Google certification. While it has the full Play Store now, the future of that on a non-Android TV device can be shaky. Google is constantly tightening the screws on devices that use plain Android for TV. Some apps, like Netflix, may not always appear in the Play Store on such devices, or may not stream in the highest quality without specific certification. As of my testing, Netflix worked, but it didn't trigger the Netflix certified badge in my TV's info panel, meaning it might be limited to 1080p or standard dynamic range. For a 4K HDR box, that's an ironic flaw. Therefore, if your primary goal is flawless, certified 4K HDR from Netflix, Disney Plus, and Prime Video, you are taking a small gamble. You might need to sideload specific versions of these apps, which is a hassle and may break with updates. This is the critical trade-off. The U22-XJ gives you unparalleled power and flexibility by not being a lockdown Android TV device, but in doing so, it potentially sacrifices seamless, guaranteed access to the biggest streaming services at their very best. \n second joke. Worrying about Google certification on an Android box is like worrying about the wine pairing at a barbecue where you're secretly eating hot dogs you brought yourself. The whole point is the freedom, but you still wish you had the fancy glass. \n so, who is this box for truly? Let's resolve that. The MINIX NEO U22-XJ is a fantastic buy for the media power user. If you have a local library of high-quality video files, use Kodi or Plex extensively, need high-end audio pass-through, and love to tinker with settings to get the perfect setup, this box is a champion. It's also great for light Android gaming, as a DIY smart home hub, or for anyone who wants a full Android computer on their TV. It is not for the person who just wants to watch The Mandalorian in 4K on Disney Plus with zero fuss. For that person, a certified streaming stick or your TV's built-in apps are simpler and more reliable. /N third joke. Recommending this to a non-techie friend is like giving a chainsaw to someone who just wanted to trim a rose bush. They might eventually figure it out, but there will be casualties, probably involving their Wi-Fi password and several hours of their weekend. /N let's talk about the setup tips, the things you should do immediately if you buy one. First, go into the settings and enable apps from unknown sources if you plan to sideload. Second, dive into the display and sound settings. Set your resolution to 4K 60Hz, enable HDR if your TV supports it, and crucially in the audio settings, set the output to RAW and enable the audio pass-through for the formats your sound system supports. Third, install a proper launcher. The default Android app drawer is functional but ugly. Install something like ATV Launcher or Sideload Launcher to get a more traditional, clean TV interface. It makes a world of difference, but don't forget to have fun with it. Therefore, see this as a project, not just a product. The reward is a uniquely powerful center for your entertainment. /N final joke. After setting up the perfect Kodi skin, configuring all the audio pass-through, and organizing your streaming apps, you'll feel like a tech wizard. Then your family will ask you to find that movie with the guy from The Thing, and you'll realize you just built a spaceship to go to the grocery store. Wrap this up, the MINIX NEO U22-XJ is a paradox. It is both over-engineered and, for its target user, perfectly engineered. It is a premium device in a market full of plastic junk. The metal build, the fantastic remote, the powerful cooling, and the extensive connectivity are all pro-level features. However, the potential hiccups with mainstream streaming app certification are a real caveat. You are trading guaranteed simplicity for potential power. Therefore, my final verdict is this. If the description of a media power user made you nod, if you have shelves of hard drives or a love for tweaking settings, this is arguably one of the best Android boxes you can buy. If that sounds like a chore, look at a Google TV or Roku device instead. /N you've made it to the end, which means you're seriously considering this. So for the deepest dive, for all the links to the best launchers, audio settings guides, and for the absolute best price on Amazon for the MINIX NEO U22-XJ, click the link in the description below. That link supports the channel at no extra cost to you, and it's the fastest way to get this powerhouse into your hands. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.